Zombies. Zombie games, zombie movies, zombie TV shows, but what about zombie anime? When talking about the apocalyptic end of the world, I'm sure we've all thought about it. The Walking Dead most notably comes to mind when thinking of the medium of zombies, but it's also just kind of bad because of writing involving characters like him and her, and some third example I'll think up later. Shaun of the Dead, a comedic take on classic zombie films, is one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, look at it. There's Death Road to Canada, a twisted take on the Oregon Trail. I love this game so much. The Walking Dead, Telltale series, Call of Duty Zombies, etc. But that begs the question, when it comes to anime, what has been done in terms of zombies? I'm gonna be real honest, in my opinion, not a whole lot. Ajin, Is This a Zombie?, Zombieland Saga, Sankria, High School of the Dead, School Live, Commentary of the Iron Fortress, holy fuck that's a long name, but holy shit those back muscles. All of these I just listed are interesting zombie or zombie-like shows in their own way, but when it comes to what I think makes a great zombie anime, all of these miss the mark. But this is where Zom100 comes into play. Akira is your average new employee at a production company, wide-eyed and excited to be in the industry and job he's always dreamed of. Things are going well for his first day. He sees a cute coworker he wants to get to know, his boss is a little rough if not manageable, and then he goes to a drinking party. As the party comes to an end and he gets ready to go home, he gets a sickening realization. His workday is not over yet. He and everyone else has to go back to work and he didn't get home until 2 days later. By the way, that boss and coworker I mentioned, well, they get more than a little personal. That was his life for 3 years, going from excited to now a guy who just wants to schlump all day. And I don't blame him, that shit looks soul-sucking. But then, something happens. The zombie apocalypse starts, and for most, while this seems like the end of the world, for Akira, this is the freedom he has long sought after. And to that note, there's this beautiful comparison of how his world got gray after working for so many years, but when he finally becomes free, everything is so lively and colorful. He no longer has any obligations and can pursue the things he's longed for so long without any hesitation. Since he realizes he is now free from work and can die at any time, he makes a list of the things he wants to do before becoming a zombie. A bucket list, in other words. From there, he has to survive in a world with real zombies trying to do everything he's always wanted to do, from eating high-class sushi, playing video games on the big TV, to building a treehouse, and make some great friends along the way too. Zom100, after it was announced, was something I couldn't wait to finish production. It's made by Studio Bug, which if you haven't heard of them, neither have I, because this is their first solo anime production, which if you've been paying attention, looks fucking gorgeous by the way. The colors are vibrant and they pop, the action sequences are so highly detailed I'm gonna start gooning just looking at them. And it shows, because look at some of the other things that they've worked on. This explains the high quality, but I'm not here to be their #1 glazer. This show stands out from his competition because in the very few zombie anime we have gotten, this is one of the only ones with true classic zombies. And what I mean by that is that there's no gimmick about the zombies. They are one bite you're zombified, they want to eat humans, and they'll stop at nothing to do so as zombies. Not main character can't die so he's a zombie, not steampunk kinda zombies, but they look more like if you added the Minecraft lava effect onto normal ass grayscaled people. And this is one of my biggest gripes with anime and zombies, because most of the time they try to add a gimmick or they change it so much that they're not even zombies, they're just like undeadish people. If you looked up a top zombie anime list, this is most of what you would get. See, in my mind, zombie anime fall into a pyramid of sorts. At the bottom you have your gimmick zombie shows, Ajin, Zombieland Saga, Is This a Zombie, etc. Slightly above that you have your almost classic zombie anime, but not really, mainly Commentary of the Iron Fortress, because holy shit, why are there superpowers now? Next is anime with classic zombies, aka School Live and High School of the Dead, but at the very top we have Zom100. So what actually sets Zom100 above the other two? Well, School Live is more about being a slice of life show with some darker themes and also dealing with like mental disorder, and High School of the Dead on the other hand is more about the survival aspect of being in the zombie apocalypse, which I like, but it's also just like super crazy horny, and we don't really get to know much of the cast other than titties and guns. I'm serious, that's all the show is, and everyone knows it. Which is crazy because for the longest time, this was the most popular zombie anime. I mean, really, it took this long for another anime to be made with normal ass zombies? I would say another important aspect that separates Zom100 from the other two is the fact that it's more character focused. It's about the character's bucket list of things they want to do before they die. I love this concept because not only is it a great way to set the goal of the story by having literal objectives to be completed, but we also get to know more about our cast and what they want and desire in life, since they're the ones adding to it. See, there's many ways you can show or tell things about your character, but goals is a great one because it makes it clear what a character wants to do and sometimes has to do. Become the Pirate King, beat the Fire Lords, survive the apocalypse, overcome your past and fears. It's such a simple way to set the story, but it tells so much about our characters being introduced because you get insight to the characters themselves. Kensho is this Chad fuckboy who never wanted to be a salaryman but chose that life to show off to others. He actually always wanted to be a comedian, and his whole comedy set is just going naked, which I'm not gonna lie is actually pretty funny. Shizuka is introduced as someone who's cold and calculating, but through the shenanigans and goodwill of her comrades, she starts to learn that survival isn't the only important thing, but living is. And through helping others, she realizes what she wants to do. Beatrix, god damn! Excuse me. Beatrix is just a weeb. Akira, our main guy, is the one who starts the bucket list. As mentioned, after being free of his job, he can do literally whatever he wants. So when he starts coming up with goals, he writes whatever comes to his head. Some of his goals are simple, others are more impactful and meaningful. We get to see sides of Akira that in most shows wouldn't be there, because in a setting like this, things would be more serious and harsh, but Zom100 is not just about the survival aspect of the apocalypse, and I feel that's what helps it stand out from other zombie anime. It simultaneously does a balancing act of being dark and serious, but also having goofy and good times. Now don't get me wrong, I love darker themes, especially in zombie stories, but sometimes I need a little more lightheartedness. Because while yeah, zombie stories are typically about survival, sometimes I need a mix. So on the other hand, we have Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland, which are comedy zombie movies, which I also like because they're just that, comedies. Shaun of the Dead more so I love just because in my opinion it's funnier, but also does have some of those heavier topics I mentioned, like Shaun coming to terms of accepting his stepdad or feeling responsible for the people he's lost because of his choices. They have their moments that show the darker side of things, but also play things for jokes. Yeah, boy! Now, let's go back to that hierarchy I mentioned beforehand. Very similarly, you could split this down the middle and put things into one of two categories, either super serious or super gimmicky / comedy. One could say that School Life is that mix of lightheartedness and darkness, but I think it plays more into the slice of life gimmick more than anything else. That's not a bad thing, but for me, Zom100 balances both of these things better. It not only has moments where we see some of the truly terrible things the apocalypse offers, but at the same time, through our main character's lens, we get to see the hopeful good side of things. That, for me, is what speaks the loudest. Zom100 can show the idea of seeing people's true nature and how some either don't change or get worse in the apocalypse. But it also shows us the good sides of the people we want to root for. We get to see them having fun, enjoy different aspects of life, and how even through our past we can rise to the occasion and become something better. In fact, one thing I actually adore and think is so smart is that even though it's called 100 Things to Do Before He Dies, Akira doesn't write 100. Hell, he barely gets to 20, which is so cool because not only will we, the audience, get to see what Akira wants to do as we get to know him over time, it also gives the author the flexibility to add more goals as they come up with them. Something else that I thought was really interesting was how the idea of a job kept coming up. At varying moments, characters kept mentioning having a job after the apocalypse. Like, yeah, characters things have they want to do, like small goals, but Kensho and others have ideas of literal professions they want to have after the apocalypse. But Akira, on the other hand, doesn't have that. He doesn't know what type of job he wants. But in a not so ham-fisted way, they say his job might just be to be the hero who saves everyone from the apocalypse. I'm not here to say that this is the #1 anime of all time. What I am saying is that Zom100 stands out from everything I've seen so far in the best of ways. It's had me laughing the whole way and excited to see where the characters will get into next. Zom100 isn't only a zombie show, but it's something that reminds me to enjoy life, the little bits and pieces. It reminds me to not have regrets and to do the things I've always wanted. Because as Akira says, we never know when we'll get bitten. Was that good? I don't know. Maybe you just want zombies and titties. Then I guess just go to High School of the Dead. Whatever. And hey, leave a comment. I'll definitely reply.